This is Aralia nudicaulis, and it has a single stem that comes up with 3 leaves. Each leaf has 5 leaflets and a palmate terminal leaf. All right, so you can see that. Just look in front of you. Stem, 3 leaves. Each leaf has 5 leaflets when it's mature. This is a web of rhizomes connecting all of these plants. If we could rake the soil very lightly and pull carefully, these would all be interconnected. All of these plants here are interconnected. And you'll see where the sun comes through, you won't find them. So if there's any hole in the canopy that gets just enough sun, it'll walk around it. Right? This always grows in the shade, rich soil, just enough canopy, dappled light. So some light's getting through, but not so much. Second thing you can learn about this. This is an Aralia, Araliaceae, so it's in the same family as ginseng. These rhizomes, like ginseng, gather a lot of material in them. You can tell how old the plant is by digging up at the bottom, and you'll see these rings right above the ground on the stem. Every year, just push the soil away so you can see the rings. See all the rings?
Where?
Yeah, see all the rings at the base of the stem?
Oh, on the stem.
So every year, the stems die off, and it makes a notch. And then the next year, it grows out of that notch. So the age of the plant you're touching can be counted in notches. The older the plant, the more it's accumulated. Now, if we were scientists with clipboards, we could walk through this field carefully and count the notches and make a diagram of the age. And a new one might pop up between 2 old ones. But if you were trying to be a herbalist, what you would do is you would look around at the plants, and you kind of get that squint, you know, like Clint Eastwood, that gunslinger squint where you're not really looking at anything, but you're looking at everything. And when you start to see everything, you can then say, oh, the elders are here, and it's walking this way through the woods. And then you can go in and, if you want, count the rings. And you'll see that the oldest ones are on one side and the younger ones are on that side. And it's moving through the woods. It's coming from over there, and it's moving this way through the woods. And in 25 years, it's going to be past that stump. In geological or plant time, you know, that's just tomorrow. But in our time, it's 25 years. But this is what this colony is doing. It's moving through the woods, accumulating food as it goes. And it sends out rhizomes at the leading edge of the colony. So those will stop because of the water or the sun. And it'll just keep itself, it'll move around the sunlight and stay under the canopy. The root bark, if you pull up the rhizome, scrape it with a knife and eat it, you'll taste the same thing as if you were eating ginseng. So this plant is a poor man's ginseng. This is in cowboy days. You know, cowboys would go into a bar, they'd order a sarsaparilla or a root beer, and you'd say, well, gee, you know, not very tough. But actually, root beers were these plants, like Aralia. Sarsaparilla is another name for it, but it's not like Jamaican sarsaparilla, it's just a name. These are plants that are adaptogens. They help your body regulate sugar. They help you adapt to stress. So what is probably the most common stress of our ancestors? Anybody?
Getting eaten by another animal.
No. Try again.
Not taxes.
Starvation. Older generations back, the biggest stress on life is starvation. So regulating your blood sugar, regulating your metabolism is how your body stays alive. Actually having a second metabolism, ketosis, which is a whole other story, is about that. So if you look at natives, Native Mexicans, Native Americans, Native Canadians, they have a terrible obesity problem because genetically their bodies have developed how to live through longer periods of starvation than Europeans because of their more nomadic lifestyle and their lack of food and refrigeration and other things. Well, they didn't have refrigeration in Europe either in the 19th century, but as a race, they evolved regulating their blood sugar differently than we did. And now when they have all these extra carbs in their diet, which were never there, Europeans brought the grains, 19th, 20th century farmers introduced them to the rest of us. And the obesity problem we have is because we can't regulate our blood sugar, and grains make us have too much sugar too often. This is a plant which will actually reverse that process. Not that I'm saying you can now go out and have your cheese sandwich and with a big thick slice of bread, and this will take the blood sugar down. It will, but that's not a way to live. You don't try to balance, if I drink 2 of these, I can have 1 of those. That's not the way we promote health. But this plant as an adaptogen will regulate your blood sugar, give you more stamina, and allow your body to burn its fuel more efficiently, carbureted. One of the things it does is it lowers the sensitivity of the cell wall to insulin. Insulin tells the cell to pull in sugar, right? So some people who are eating too much sugar, their body has so much insulin that the cells are saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. And now they want 2 messages of insulin to make the cell take it. Well, when you start doubling the amount of insulin in your blood, it's a corrosive. It'll start eating up all your tissues, making them sucking in sugar when they shouldn't. And your cells are becoming resistant. When you take an adaptogen like the Aralia family, this is Aralia nudicaulis, it reduces your insulin resistance, lowers your blood sugar, and makes you a more efficient burning machine. It makes you more efficient at eating your food, so you can have smaller meals, not feel hungry between meals, because your blood sugar doesn't spike. It stays in a much smaller sine wave, a much smaller range, which is healthier. When you have high carbs and sugars, your blood sugar goes too high and too low, and your body's always trying to adjust according to how we have abused it. So this is a very special plant, and this is one of the original root beer plants.